Buried deep inside Iran's mountains, hundreds of meters underground, are cities made entirely of missiles. Row after row of ballistic missiles lined up in the dark. Automated rail systems moving them silently toward launch points. Thousands of warheads ready to fire at a moment's notice. For 20 years, Iran built this, quietly, secretly, obsessively. They called it their insurance policy. A guarantee that no airstrike, no matter how powerful, could silence them. But today, that insurance policy is being put to the ultimate test. And there's a massive flaw that Iran never wanted you to see. Welcome back. If you haven't watched our first video, US versus Iran Military Strength 2026, go watch that first. Link is in the description. Today, we go inside Iran's most secretive military project, the underground missile cities. How they were built. What's inside? Why America fears them. And why they might actually be Iran's biggest mistake. Let's get into it. To understand Iran's underground missile cities, you have to go back to 1984. Iran was in the middle of an 8-year war with Iraq. Saddam Hussein's Air Force was bombing Iranian cities. Iranian military facilities were being hit from the air, and Iran couldn't stop it. The lesson Iran's military took from that war was brutal and simple. If it is above ground, it can be destroyed. So in 1984, the same year the missile program began, Iran built its first underground missile base. That was 42 years ago. Since then, they never stopped digging. So what exactly is a missile city? Think of it like a massive underground warehouse carved directly into a mountain. The tunnels are typically -6 to 10 meters, HIGH about 6 meters, to OYDE stretching for kilometers underground, located at depths of 30 to 500 meters. Deep enough to survive most airstrikes inside these tunnels, rows of ballistic missiles stored. Vertically along the walls, road-mobile launcher trucks, preloaded with missiles so they can drive to the surface and fire immediately. Automated railway systems that move missiles on rail carts toward launch positions. Each missile is already on its own ready-to-fire platform. No cranes, no delays. Hundreds, possibly thousands, of missiles per facility. Iran's IRGC commander actually bragged about this on TV. He said, and I quote, "If we unveil a missile city every week for the next 2 years, it still won't be finished." Let that sink in. Not one or two. Not a dozen. Hundreds of underground missile bases across all 31 provinces of Iran. While most are secret, here are the known missile cities. Kermanshah Province, Western Iran, close to Iraq border underground base focused on medium-range ballistic missiles. Semnan Province, Central Iran, one of the largest known complexes, used for long-range missile storage. Tabriz, northwestern Iran, recently struck by U.S. munitions in February 2026. La Missile Center, Fars Province. Southern Iran, massive tunnel network, storage, concealment, and launch capability, recently struck multiple times by U.S. and Israeli forces. Hajj Bad and Jam. Southern Iran near the Gulf, strategic. Location, missiles pointed toward U.S. naval assets in the Persian Gulf. Ogab 44. Hormozgan Province, north of the Strait of Hormuz, not a missile base. This one is an underground airbase, hidden in the mountains, sheltering fighter jets from airstrikes. Khorramabad, Imam Ali Barracks, dedicated to long-range Shahab-3 missiles, and analysts believe there are dozens more locations on them. Long, hidden in the mountain ranges that cover 55% of Iran. In March 2025, just months before the war, Iran released a video to senior IRGC generals riding through a tunnel on a vehicle, showing the world what is inside. One analyst saw in that footage, Kheibar second medium range, 1,450 kilometers range, highly precise high QASEM named after assassinated General Soleimani, 1,400 kilometers range. EM-8D precision guided, can hit targets 1,700 kilometers away. Sajjil solid fuel ballistic missile, faster launch time, harder to intercept. GHADRH, range up to 1,950 kilometers. Can reach deep into Europe and all U.S. bases in the Gulf. Have a cruise missile low flying. Hard to detect on radar in a single camera frame during that video. Analysts counted at least 78 Kheibar or high-case missiles in one tunnel. And Iran used these exact missiles in its strikes on Israel in 2024, penetrating some of the most advanced air defense systems in the world. Here's what makes these missile cities different from anything else in the world. In the US, Russia, China, underground missile silos hold one missile each, one silo. One missile. You fire at that gun. Iran's system is completely different. It works like a magazine, like a semi-automatic weapon. 5 missiles loaded onto a single rail car. The rail car moves down the tunnel toward the surface. Iran fires one missile. The next one moves into position automatically. Then the next. Then the next. Analysts say a single facility could launch dozens of missiles in rapid succession before the US even has time to respond. In 2020, Iran demonstrated something that shocked military experts worldwide. They launched a ballistic missile directly from underground. No launcher above ground. No warning signature. Just a hole opens in the earth and a missile flies out. That's why the US and Israel spent years mapping every tunnel, every entrance, every rail system. Because this isn't just storage. It's a weapons system. But here's where it gets interesting and dangerous for Iran. The missile cities have one weakness. The missiles have to come OUT to launch. No matter how deep the tunnel, no matter how thick the mountain, at some point, that launcher truck has to drive to the surface. It has to open and exit. It has to expose itself to the sky. And the US and Israel have known about this for years. Right now, as of early March 2026, US and Israeli drones are flying 24/7 directly above the tunnel exits. The moment a launcher begins moving toward the surface, it is detected. Within minutes, fighter jets or armed drones strike it before it can fire. Heavy bombers have dropped bunker-busting munitions on tunnel entrances. In some cases, burying the weapons inside the mountain satellite images show damage near Tabriz. Strikes near Korgo and Hajiabad, multiple crater strikes near the Shiraz missile cluster Iran has already launched more than 500 missiles since the war began. But analysts say launches have been slowing down because the exits are being watched and hit constantly. One analyst at the James Martin Center for Nonproliferation Studies said it perfectly. What used to be mobile and difficult to locate is now less mobile and easier to strike. Iran's greatest strength is becoming a trap. There's one more danger that military experts are quietly talking about. Look at the footage Iran released to the missile cities. Notice something? The missiles are stored in open tunnels. Row after row, no blast doors between them. No separated compartments. No protective barriers. If a single US bunker-penetrating bomb, like the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, the 30,000-pound bomb designed for exactly this scenario, if that gets into a tunnel section, the heat and pressure from one explosion could set off a chain reaction through hundreds of missiles. One spark, in the right place, could detonate an entire missile city from the inside. That's not just a military threat. That's a catastrophic explosion, the kind that reshapes geography. Iran built these cities to survive. But the way they're packed, one breach could end everything. Faced with this reality, Iran is already changing tactics. Intelligence reports suggest Iran is now moving away from the fixed missile cities toward 3 new approaches: one, decentralization, moving missiles to smaller. Scattered hiding spots across the country, forests, houses, civilian areas, making them harder to find and track the decoys, fake launchers, fake tunnel entrances, fake signals to confuse US and Israeli surveillance. 3 drone swarms cheap. Mass-produced drones launched from hidden locations to overwhelm air defense systems. Before the ballistic missiles follow, Iran also has one last card, the nuclear ambiguity card. Iran has enriched uranium to near weapons grade. The world doesn't know exactly how close they are, and that uncertainty alone changes every calculation. For 40 years, Iran dug into its mountains. Billions of dollars. Thousands of workers. Total secrecy. They built a nuclear-level deterrent without a single nuclear bomb. A system designed for one purpose, to make sure that even if America hit first, Iran could still hit back. And right now, that system is being tested in real time. Every tunnel entrance, every exit, every missile launcher. The question the world is watching is this: does Iran have enough missiles left underground that have been found yet to change the outcome of this war? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is the most dangerous weapon of all. Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe for daily war updates. And tomorrow, we're breaking down what happens if Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz and why it could trigger a global economic collapse. See you there.